This is the PWTorch post show for Elimination Chamber on February 28th, 2026. I'm your host for the evening, Nate Lindberg, usually of PWT Talks NXT on the Daily Cast, but I'm leaving the NXT bubble here tonight to talk some main roster WWE and some Elimination Chamber and things like that. And we've got a couple people here to talk about it with me. First up, Sean Radican. Sean, thanks for joining, man.
Hey, nice to be here.
And David Miller, as thank you as well, man.
Thank you, Nick. Glad to be here as always.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we had, I think this is a pretty decent show tonight. As Sean and I were talking a little bit before David jumped on right before we went live, and show might have seemed a little bit of a slog here and there between some of the matches, but I think overall we had we had a pretty decent show tonight. So we'll start. Just run down the card real quick. We had Women's Elimination Chamber, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, and Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton. Then we had AJ Lee and Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship. CM Punk versus Finn Balor for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And then our main event was the Men's Elimination Chamber, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans, Logan Paul, LA Knight, and Trick Williams. And I think we'll start there at the main event. We saw Randy Orton come out on top after I don't know, quite a few things went on in the middle of that match there. We saw the unmasking of the masked man, the black Scorpion, as I've heard some people refer to him online, and it turned out to be Seth Rollins, who kind of turned his back on the Vision and attacked Logan Paul and completely allowed Paul Heyman to kind of have a bit of a meltdown on the side of the ring there. But we'll go down the order of eliminations. We had Logan Paul with 3 eliminations, first eliminating Javon Evans, which was super disappointing to me. Then he eliminated LA Knight and then Trick Williams. The Masked Man, which was, as I just said, Seth Rollins, attacked, where am I in my notes here? Attacked Logan Paul and allowed Cody to eliminate Logan. Then we had Drew McIntyre ended up coming in through the open door as they were trying to get Logan Paul out. He hit Cody with his belt and attacked him. Orton RKO'd Drew. Crossroads to Drew from Cody, and then an RKO to Cody immediately, allowing Randy Orton to pick up the win. Going to WrestleMania to face Drew McIntyre, who was lying on the ground at the end of that match. So, like I said, I thought this was kind of nice. I wasn't sure who necessarily was going to come out on top here. I was thinking Randy was kind of, especially as we were coming up to this match, they kept talking about Randy wanting to hit that number 15 World Championships, and I was kind of thinking maybe he might go here, but there was, I don't know, at least the fan in me really wanted to see Javon Evans. The fan and the NXT guy in me wanted to see Javon Evans come on top and maybe become the youngest world champion of all time. Let me first, I'll throw to Sean to let's give us your thoughts on the main event. And you are on mute.
Sorry about that.
There we go. Hey, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it a lot. A couple of things, just like with the Royal Rumble, it drives me crazy that people can run in and out of these matches, with the matches without repercussions, and just, you know what I mean? It's just a given that you can interfere no matter what, especially in this match where, you know what I mean, that you have a chamber locking people in. I mean, that just kind of drives me crazy. But that, if you put that aside, I mean, it's kind of what had to happen to get to where they wanted to go with the masked man angle. And you had multiple masked men coming out. I liked how the first one ended up being one of Rollins' trainees, which is a pretty big hint of what was coming tonight. So that was cool. And then they had probably the fake one. They'll probably ID him from his school too, I would think. But I was surprised with the outcome. I was pretty certain Cody would win, but it was kind of like you said. It was kind of like it could have gone a few different ways, but I was pretty sure Cody was going to win. But that outcome definitely surprised me. Putting Orton, not having Rhodes in the WrestleMania main event seems just, you know what I mean, at this stage. Just really odd, and him saying that in the media that's going to be kind of a sleeper WrestleMania. I mean, that's what he means is that he's not even going to be in the main event, and they've had so many floating pieces. Jacob Fatu didn't get involved at all. Like, how does he play it? It looked like he was going to play into this at some point. So it leaves a lot of questions to sort out the finish with Orton getting the win. I liked Logan Paul doing a lot, like the match itself. I liked Logan Paul getting eliminations, cheating, stealing pins, low blows, things like that, strengthening his character. But just the booking. I talk about this like with a lot of the WWE pay-per-views. Like there's similar stuff in other matches too. Like as we go back down to the on a 4-match card, you get the Becky Lynch and AJ Lee match was also filled with not interference, but like ref bumps and shenanigans, similar to what Logan Paul was trying to pull off here, or being heelish. I guess or being as heelish as you could with no rules, or being dishonorable. So in totality, I thought it was really well done, but I wish they they'd respect their stipulations more, and it wasn't so easy for, what I mean, for it and accept it for guys, just the Royal Rumble. They just let it happen, and now here they didn't just let it happen. They tried to put a stop to it, but it's kind of laughable that a major, in a kayfabe, this is a major, sporting league, WWE. They only have enough agents and security to handle one run-in. Like Rollins came in, it was like anyone in the building could have ran into
right,
the way the commentators sounded. So I liked it for the excitement factor of it, but they booked themselves into some strange corners. I mean, if you don't really watch the product a lot, and it makes zero sense. And you start to accept things and look things up. You know what I mean? Just because I hate to say, you have to turn your brain off to enjoy it, but sometimes you really do.
Oh yeah, no. Sometimes you absolutely need to. Wrestling logic can be a thing,
and it kind of stinks when they come off of such a good, strong run with Reigns all those years and how good the product was overall, and they had fun stuff going up and down the card, and now it's just been a transition. I'll say that.
No, I'll give you that. I mean, to be completely honest, I've kind of, I've even fallen off, watching from week to week. I mean, I keep up with it, through, the Torch and clips and things like that. But yeah, it's I love wrestling, and it's like I don't watch nearly as much, partly because of that, and then partly because there's just so many ads. I feel like I'm just getting ads shoved down my throat every time I watch WWE outside of NXT.
They even stopped the show to run an ad before the post show.
I
don't even did they get the sign-off graphic up tonight? I didn't notice it, but it was they rushed right to that post show to get the ad, another 5 minutes ads up before they went to their post show.
Yeah. But yeah, and then R-Truth hawking Papa John's pizza right in the middle and all that, like, just I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, it is.
But yeah. But yeah,
let me the quarterly reports, when it gets.
Oh yeah.
At least we didn't see the Slim Jim table tonight.
That's very true. That's very true. So, David, let me throw to you on the men's elimination chamber.
My first thought is I can't help but wonder if Logan Paul actually took Bronson Reed's role in the elimination chamber as far as the elimination of three men right in a row. That sounds like something that could have very easily happened with Bronson Reed. I can't help but wonder if they just stuck Logan Paul in there and that's what Reed would have been doing. But like you, of course, being an NXT guy, I would have liked to have seen Javon Evans get a little bit more in there, but he's clearly over the crowd as a Trick Williams is too. He's just an absolute star. They've taken him immediately. He just exudes star power when he walks out there. As far as the ending goes, I expected. I guess I should say I expected Cody Rhodes, but I'm very glad that they did not go with that route. I was hoping they would not. I was thinking that I would be disappointed that it would be Cody Rhodes because we've seen Rhodes and we've seen him and Drew McIntyre several times already. I quite honestly that matchup does not interest me in the least. I don't care to revisit that anymore. Orton versus Drew McIntyre, though, I can see myself looking forward to that. I think we need to see another side of Cody Rhodes besides the one that wins the big ones all the time. And you can tell by the look on his face after the end of the match that he was very, very disappointed with that outcome. But I loved. I mean, other than obviously the interference, and you could tell when they zoomed in on Trick Williams for too long. I'm like, okay, the mask guy's going to jump up right from behind him because they're paying too much attention to Trick Williams getting escorted out of the ring. And sure enough, there he was. So, no surprise that it was Seth Rollins. The fans enjoyed seeing it anyway, as did I. And the best part about it was seeing the look on Paul Heyman's, the comical look on Paul Heyman's face, like he'd just seen his dead mother rise up out of the grave or something. And so that was very funny. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty good main event elimination chamber match.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I'd agree with that. I mean, yeah, the finish, yeah, maybe a little overbooked, a little crazy, but like Sean said, I feel like they kind of booked themselves into a corner a little bit. Like I said, I wasn't necessarily expecting Orton. As I said, to start the show, a couple of things they were saying in commentary made me go, huh, maybe. But I was kind of thinking it might be Cody or something like that. And I wasn't super like the thought of Cody in another WrestleMania, for a title in a match that I didn't think he would probably wind up winning right now, because I feel like Drew's got a pretty decent amount of momentum as champion. So yeah, it didn't really, I don't know, seem appealing to me.
I mean, they've run out of options with all these injuries, and
I know.
And so I'm still puzzled because this was Cody's pitch, and for McIntyre to hold the title, and he chases him, and now we have this pivot. So it leaves me thinking that there's more to come. I have a hard time seeing that. You know what I mean? That is one of the main events. I really,
No, for sure.
I mean, it's. David said, like David said, it's a more interesting match because it's a fresh match, but it just doesn't feel like a WrestleMania.
Well, no, wait a minute here, gentlemen. We have to remember that we are talking about WWE, and you know how they love triple threat matches.
That's true. And we do have some people in the chat kind of talking about them turning this into a four-way or something.
Yeah,
like
I was thinking of four, like they'll add, but again, that just
make it another Royal Rumble. Why not?
It cheapens the Royal Rumble. It cheapens the Elimination Chamber, and it just it's. But they, I guess they feel some pressure to make this year more exciting, and they got to do what they got to do. But it just
Yeah.
Well, if they don't have as many three-way matches as they always do, it's probably because of what you said earlier, Sean. They don't have enough wrestlers to do three-way matches anymore with, half the roster being on the injured list here.
Yeah, they've been a bit
Yeah.
snake bitten lately, but getting Rollins back is a big deal for them. So that should definitely help the. I mean, it sounds like that. It sounded to me like when they initially talked about Braun surgery and whether or not he'd be back in time, I thought maybe he had a chance. But then when Paul Heyman talked about it, I mean, I'd have a hard time thinking he's going to make it back from that, by the, sometime in April. So, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get that Rollins Braun Breaker match would be really, really big. I think that would move some tickets and help, bolster one of the undercard. But
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean,
Rollins versus Rollins versus Paul isn't a bad pivot either. But Breaker's just it's just exciting because I think he's one of the next guys.
no, for sure. I mean, Breaker. I do like Breaker. I can't stand the name. I haven't liked the name Braun Breaker since he debuted as Braun Breaker, but in NXT. But that would have been a good match, Logan and Braun. I don't mind the pivot, obviously because of injuries and stuff between him and Logan Paul. I hate to say, like, I can't stand Logan Paul as a human being and things like that, but man, he's so much better as a pro wrestler than he has any right to be. So I don't know. I guess it works because I mean,
at least he's doing it because he's got passion for it. Because he
exactly
just made $16 million.
Right. And I
Jane.
I gotta have a little bit of respect for the guy for doing what he's doing in the business, because it's like a love for the business. He doesn't have to do this.
He could do literally just his podcast and flip his Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah, easily.
I think he's very good at what for his level of since he's debuted. I've been impressed. So
for sure,
I'm hoping he keeps getting better, being so new to the business still.
Yeah. No, if he's this good now, I mean, I can only imagine, what he's going to be like if he's still doing it in the next, 5 years or so. I mean, it seems like he probably will.
And I also think that he's one of those great heels right now. Well, very snarky and he's such a great heel that if they keep him as a heel for a few more years and then decide to turn him face, he will be over so huge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't think he was a great fit for the, not to get too off track, off the matches, but I didn't think he was a great fit for the vision, because I think he could talk, you know what I mean, for himself and fend, I don't think he needs to be in a stable necessarily, especially when you're trying to flip guys into, you know what I mean, with the guy, when Shine's obviously going on other guys too. What do you think of his fit in the division? Because something seems off to me with him just kind of standing there watching, sometimes watching Heyman talk and kind of having to wait his turn when he's kind of a guy that, I think he could be his own man, so to speak.
No, and I agree with you there. I mean, I think he could be, he could stand on his own. He's very, very good on the mic. Like, probably one of the better people on the mic on the main roster. Because he talks with conviction, with passion, and you believe, at least I do. I believe what he's saying, at least as a character. I don't believe anything the guy actually says.
He doesn't sound like he's putting on an act.
Yeah. But I actually do kind of like him in the vision. And I think I might be in a minority because I keep hearing people talking about how they don't necessarily like him in the vision. But I do. I think it adds another level of heat to the vision. Because so many people, just can't stand Logan Paul outside of outside of wrestling.
I mean, it's a good thing now that they added him with all the injuries.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Heyman would be walking out there with Austin Theory at this point. So,
yeah.
but
if they even kept things going.
I wasn't saying I hated it or anything. I was just saying I think he can.
He can stand on his own. Yeah.
I think he can stand on his own, but at the same time, like you said, he adds heat to the stable. So it's it could have gone either way, but.
Standard deviation in the chat says, is Logan Paul overhated or am I lacking information on him? All you got to do is just Google Logan Paul Japan, and that'll give you a little bit of information on why I can't stand the guy. And there's much more than that. You can Google Logan Paul CoffeeZilla, or even this $16 million Pokemon card thing. There's a whole bunch of controversy around that and NFTs and stuff. I don't know. I read a whole thing about it, and I can't remember, so I don't want to speak to it. But yeah, Logan Paul's just not a good dude, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. David, anything on Logan Paul and the Vision?
Yeah, I don't think anyone really stands or fits in the Vision. I mean, I think they're all a collection of I mean, name one similarity between, among any four of those guys, Breaker or Reed or Theory or Logan Paul. There, it's like watching the oddities.
Oh God.
But yeah, I don't think any one of them really fit in a stable. They don't look, they're pretty far cry from looking like the Four Horsemen. They don't look like a group that should be a cohesive unit. None of them do.
That's a good way to put it.
It's very fair. Very fair. I'll give you that.
And
I mean, like I kind of get it. What they're going for. I mean, take a bunch of guys that are kind of on the up, on the rise, and put them with Seth Rollins and well, I guess not anymore, but at the time, put them with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, kind of under their wing, that learning tree, and then use Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman to help get these guys some heat. So it's like I see what they're going for. I don't necessarily mind the Vision, but now that you say that, like they don't really seem like a cohesive group. I'm kind of thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, they really don't. It's going to be curious. I'm curious to see if they even keep the Vision going. I guess it's really all going to depend on how soon Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed get back. If they even just disband the group altogether, or Austin and Logan kind of quietly go their separate ways. Maybe bring everybody back together after the injuries subside. But yeah. Yeah.
The Vision has a serious case of glaucoma right now.
I don't know. I think I'm missing the joke.
Blurry.
It's blurry. I mean, they.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, blurry.
Gotcha.
It's there's not much left there to build on, really. Again, all four of them together didn't seem cohesive, and Logan Paul and Austin Theory, I mean, at least this version, this angry version of Austin Theory, back when he was just the narcissistic Austin Theory, then he and Logan Paul probably would have been a lot more similar. But this new character of Austin Theory, which I don't buy at all, it seems incredibly insincere to me. I don't buy, walking around with this fake scowl on his face and looking like, someone, stole his lunch, all the time or something. I don't know. I'm not feeling it.
I'm an idiot. We're talking about the Vision, and then you said glaucoma, and I didn't put two and two together. Like, wow. All right. Yeah. So, but all right. But all right. Anyway, so that was the men's elimination chamber and some talk on the Vision there. Let's keep moving on. Let's go backwards here, and let's talk about CM Punk versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight title. I do want to say, hey, thank you to Michael Cole for shouting out my man Miles Bourne down in NXT, who just became the new North American champion. I thought that was kind of cool. He shouted him out there. He was right before the match started. I think Balor might have even been making his entrance when he said it, or it was right before that. Don't remember, but shout out to Miles Bourne, North American champion in NXT. So we did see Punk retain here, which I don't think was a giant shock for anybody who's either on this panel or in the chat or listening after the fact. God, I mean, I love Finn Balor. I'd love to see him get back to being top of the card, being a world champion again. I don't know if I necessarily see it happening for him again in WWE, but hey, time will tell. I thought this match was pretty much what I expected. Finn Balor, with a lot of fire and a lot of offense, making it kind of seem like maybe he'll have that chance, but ultimately coming up short in the end. I mean, it was an okay match. It was a good match. I think it was probably my least favorite match of the night, which is because I think it was just so predictable. But it was still a good match. As far as I'm concerned, I enjoyed every match on the card, for what it was. But yeah, like I said, I think it was predictable and kind of, because why mess up that quote dream main event, as they kept calling it on commentary, between Roman and CM Punk. If Finn was to win again, maybe we were talking about triple threats for the other title, maybe triple threat for this one or something like that. Yeah, I'm okay with the outcome. It makes sense. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be for the most part. So I threw to Sean first last time. So David, throwing to you.
I could have done without the first half of the match. Quite honestly, I thought it was very, very slow paced, and especially the first half of the match. It really picked up about 3/4 of the way. It started getting interesting to me. But for the first 3/4 of the match, I thought it would have made a decent mid-card match on Raw. I wasn't, again, like you said, it was good to see kind of the old Finn Balor back, but I hate to say this, but it seemed more like a nostalgia act. And I don't want to say that because I don't feel like Finn Balor's, there at, but that's the way it felt, just because that, I don't know, it felt like a nostalgia thing with him coming out to his old music, and it was good. But again, as you said, there was absolutely zero chance, short of CM Punk breaking both of his legs while walking out to the ring tonight. There's no way that Finn Balor is going to win that.
Now I'm just picturing like the walk in with AJ and CM Punk right at the beginning, and just falls over from broken legs or something, like Family Guy style. But yeah, no, like no chance of Finn winning tonight. So yeah, like I said, is what it is. Sean, on the World Heavyweight title match.
I don't have a lot, to add to what they,
Yeah, I hear you.
I thought they were a 2.5 star match. This was it. First gear pretty much the whole time. The highlight, Punk's entrance, was awesome with the old Bulls starting lineup music from the Jordan era and the PA.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
All right. I wasn't sure what that was. I thought it was cool, but I'm like, I have no idea what this is.
So that was the highlight of the match to me. It was Punk. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. It's like, Punk's in his hometown of Chicago, and then they start wrestling. It's like, I almost wanted to get a pillow out during the first half of the match and take a nap while Finn and Cole's going, yeah, he's slowing it down so that these hometown fans don't get riled up. And like, sure enough, Punk's wrestling in Chicago, and you got a quiet crowd, at least the way it came through on TV. They seemed awfully quiet. And, to echo, just you never thought they never did anything to make you think Balor was going to win the match, and Balor's done nothing in the last 10 years to make you think he's going to win the match. So why are they even doing this? It's like, and Balor does the media rounds and tries to make you believe it. And it's like, no, I mean, 10 years ago you were, you were flying high, but not now. And
at least for a day, or half a day. Yeah.
But, yeah, I just thought that's a perfect nostalgia act. It's not even needed because I bet he can still go if they said, hey, go out there with Punk and, do whatever you want. But they clearly went out there with the plan to tell a story, tell a WWE story and have this slow match, and then they show respect after. And I'm hoping Balor Balor is on a higher trajectory, on the undercard going forward because of this. If anything, hopefully he gets more singles opportunities and gets a chance to have some better matches. But I didn't get the feeling like I wanted to see, you know what I mean? Like, I'm grasping for straws here. Like, I didn't get the feeling that I wanted to see that particularly after this. I don't know for sure what he can do anymore because I never get a chance to, you know what I mean? But he still looks really good. Cosmetically. I mean,
no, I mean, I think right now I think he probably looks as good as he ever has. But yeah, no, I mean, I hear you. I mean, the beginning of the match was a little bit on the slower side. And nobody. Every time Finn Balor was like, "I'm going to win," you just kind of roll your eyes and go, "Sure you are, buddy." And I don't know. I mean, I'm a big fan of Finn Balor's. I like I said earlier, I'd love to see him get back to that main event title scene at some point. Maybe win the title again. But like Sean just said, what has he done over the last decade to get him back to that after losing the inaugural Universal title?
The only thing I can think of is someone in power recognized that they've really fumbled so to speak, fumbled the ball with him let's do something with him. Like, let's do something with him for a change, but it doesn't work like that. You just can't, have a guy that you tote out there that doesn't even wrestle singles matches anymore, and Punk's going to challenge him to wrestle. It makes them both look less than,
Yeah,
I think the trajectory they're on, or at least what I see, is Balor going back after the not only losing but then shaking Punk's hand and getting a hard time from the Judgment Day, and being Dominic and Balor for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, with Balor winning the Intercontinental title. That's what I see.
I could see something like that too. And Derek Mitchell in the chat agrees with you. He says Finn's not getting back to the title scene after 10 years absent. He's going back to the IC title. And yeah,
he already got back to the title scene.
Yeah. But I kind of agree with that. I mean, I think there's a lot of. I think there's a lot of upside with Finn Balor, and I mean he's certainly popular and things like that. But when he, and I saw it in the chat earlier, and I don't know who said it, but somebody said Finn needs to bring the demon back when he's going to win, and when he didn't come out as the demon, I'm like, okay, the maybe 0.5% chance he had to win has now gone to zero.
What if he had just worn his tights instead of his soccer pants and
or something like that.
In Japan they wear T-shirts that stars and they call it house show gear, and that's basically, this is Finn's version of house show gear, is what he's doing with the Judgment Day. I don't know if he's got Jordans on, but it looks like Jordans and nice athletic pants.
All right, so I think we've said all we can say about Punk versus Balor. So let's go to what's in the box. So I saw,
I was waiting for you just to forget it altogether.
So so I personally don't know a whole heck of a lot about Danhausen. If you haven't seen Elimination Chamber, Danhausen was in the box. I don't quite know how he survived in there for like 3 weeks, but
Well, that's
wrestling.
Tony Khan must have shipped it from Jacksonville to Chicago.
Yeah, and must have put a bunch of food and a bathroom and stuff in there,
A bunch of women.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know a whole ton about Danhausen. I obviously know he's a comedic wrestler, and I've seen clips and stuff online. I I'm excited about it because I've got a few friends that are like huge Danhausen fans. So I've had him talked up to me quite a bit. But like I said, don't know a whole heck of a lot about him. So
I like him, but it gets old fast. And
I could see that.
Even in AEW, which was the crowd for it, it just I mean, it got to where Tony didn't even let him rest. Like he just would like come out with his wand at ringside and do his shtick, during matches and help out Orange Cassidy and
right, yeah.
It's one of the more puzzling signings. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No.
I was just I really like Danhausen. I think there's a role. There's a way. I just think it's hard to find a role for him.
Yeah.
In this, I don't know. It just didn't work in AEW, and I would think that would be the place. But then again, like that's like just all about the you know what I mean? It's all about the wrestling and it's not very. It got really serious like while he was there, and with WWE, I mean, is he going to be like giving Tozawa his teeth backstage and Tozawa's going, oh no, and, like running around? Is that like?
Well, and that's
they're going to have a hard
that's
time.
That's what I was kind of wondering.
Because
is where is he going to slot in? It's like, he's a comedic wrestler. He's not necessarily, at least from my understanding, he's not really necessarily taken seriously. So it's like I can see him having maybe a couple matches where he gets some wins to like put him over a little bit with the WWE audience. But then I don't know, 6 months from now, I bet you he's backstage hawking Papa John's with R-Truth.
Problem is like he's just so like small too, like just physically. He needs to put on some bulk so he could at least get in the ring with these guys and have some credibility. He just still looks like hasn't put on any bulk. I like I said, I like him, but I'm just trying to, like cosmetically and everything. It's just who's he gonna beat? Like,
right?
Like who can who would he credibly beat on the roster right now? Like I can't think of one guy with his like off the top of my head with his build. He's just
Tozawa.
Well, yes, but even Tozawa's like, clearly got a better physique than him.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think. If you put them, you would. I know they're both goofy guys on TV, but man, it's just going to be hard for them to push him. I think, unless he just, he just does all his. I don't know. Just seeing him debut on the main roster was just such a shock too.
Surreal. It's a word I can think of.
I just you think of all the guys that got sent to NXT over the you know what I mean?
Yeah. Pile Driver Pete in the chat says Danhausen on the main roster. I don't know, in NXT like a glove, and 100%. I could easily see Danhausen fitting into NXT. It's I don't want to say it's not taken as seriously. I mean, it is obviously NXT is, but I mean a lot of the storylines you can kind of. I feel you get away with it down in NXT, whereas up on the main roster, it
maybe even evolve.
I mean, if you pair him with the bigger guy, maybe then it would. You know what I mean? Like where he's the little Spike Dudley but that's not his thing. You know what I mean? But he. I mean, the closest thing I ever had. I didn't even like it that much was he was an odd couple with PCO in the Ring of Honor for a while, tag team, which was kind of fun, but you know what I mean? It's just runs its course after a while. So I'm just it just doesn't feel like a great fit, but I'm happy for him that he, you know, took this gimmick to the top of the industry is very impressive to me.
Yeah, this Sadler V3 in the chat says, yeah, NXT is a much better fit. I think WWE overrated his popularity to debut him in a spot like this. Only the hardcores would know who he was. And to be honest, I was thinking almost the exact same thing as he was coming out. Like, I was pumped to see him because, like, you know, again, I've got a bunch of friends that are big Danhausen fans. So it's kind of like, oh, all right, cool. Now I get to, I don't really watch AEW. I don't have, it's only so much time in the week. But so I'm like, cool. Now I'll get to kind of, you know, figure out who Danhausen is. But then I'm like, and somebody else said it too, like he was an indie act through and through. Derek Hubbard said that, you know, it's always saw him as an indie act through and through. And that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, does anybody, you know, especially listening to the crowd, who knows who he is? You know, there was a bit of a pop for him, and then it was kind of flat.
It sounded like booze,
you know,
but when they cut his music, it was like,
yeah. So I'm really interested to see how his WWE run plays out. But and I mean, hey, perfect example. Junaid in the chat says, "Who's Danhausen?" So, you know,
I'll tell you, they had balls to do that with everyone expecting Chris Jericho for the last few months to show up. They really had the balls to have it be Danhausen. And but I'll tell you, I've seen some of Danhausen, and what I've seen, he's one of the funniest acts on the you know, on the indie scene. And yeah, he is very indie-rific. And to be honest with you, the thought of Danhausen never would have crossed my mind, except I was talking with a coworker today, asking him who he had in the Rumble, and he sent me back a picture of Danhausen saying, "Who knows?" And I'm like, yeah, that would be funny if it was Danhausen, but I never thought it would be.
yeah.
And I saw that, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And I'll tell you, have you ever seen the video? Have you ever seen the video of him? It looked like it was at a Comic-Con or something, approaching Bradshaw and Ron Simmons, and he throws down like a $5 bill on the table, and wants to hire them to take care of Billy Gunn's kids because he said, and they're like, "Why ask it?" "Well, you're the APA, the ass pounding agency. So I want you to pound the ass boys." If you haven't seen
that,
look it up. You will die laughing. It's the funniest
that's
thing I've
awesome.
ever seen.
That's
And,
great.
Yeah. So the guy is absolutely hilarious, and he's good friends with CM Punk too. So that, yeah, that kind of makes sense that he would show up there tonight. But
yeah, I saw. I saw early, you know, I can't remember if it was early. I'm in the middle of packing and I'm about to move, so my days are blending together. I can't remember if I saw this earlier today or yesterday, but Danhausen was just removed from the AEW roster.
It started going around the last few days that
so people were
that he was going to be in the box. So
yeah, people were kind of talking about it. So like I was talking to a buddy of mine, during Elimination Chamber before the box reveal of Danhausen, and we're kind of wondering, and I was like, yeah, it could be Danhausen, and they didn't necessarily think it was, but like, hey, that'd be cool, and then boom, Danhausen.
It was 95% true when I got an email that his pro wrestling tees were going on sale for a day or something like earlier.
Yeah, all right. That's always a good indication. No.
Sometimes they do it to fool you, like they let WWE let Kevin Owens put his back on, and it was just a ruse to play with his contract being up.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Danhausen, yeah, I mean it was even pretty much a spoiled surprise, but I think this could be the gobbledygooker of our time.
I thought that too. I'm like, people are, what in the gobbledygooker is this guy? Because
I mean,
I'm
I hate
sure.
to say it, but it's just like I don't think their audience knows him. So, and you know what I mean?
I'd agree
That
with
was
that.
not the most excitable crowd anyway. And I'm glad you mentioned that earlier, Sean, because I was like, this crowd is pretty flat tonight. They were pretty flat pretty much through the whole show to me. Or am I the only one that noticed how flat the crowd seemed?
I thought they were
No.
flat most of the way. Like the women's match, I didn't really notice it, but the rest of the show was like, I didn't think the matches were particularly anything to get excited about either, the way they were booked, except the women's match was pretty good, but they didn't really get behind it. I don't want to go start it, but they didn't really have a ton to get excited about until they kind of came up for the end of the men's chamber, but it wasn't. It was a surprisingly tame Chicago crowd.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Chicago as where was it? I had it up on the screen a second ago. Does the reaction say something about the Chicago crowd becoming less hardcore in recent years? Maybe. I mean, I've always thought of Chicago as, like one of the wrestling cities in the country.
AEW goes there, pretty frequently, and New Japan's going there for G1, so they,
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of these WWE shows have kind of become destination events too. So I mean, I don't know the splits of how many out of towners versus native Chicago people went, but I don't know. It felt like they were all there for the Punk entrance, but
Yeah,
for sure. All right, let's go again. We'll keep going backwards here. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental title. We saw Becky lost. I was going to say Becky retained. Becky lost to AJ Lee, who is our new Intercontinental Champion, Women's Intercontinental Champion. Her first singles title in quite a while. It was her first singles match in quite a while. I liked this match. I feel like AJ lost. I don't say lost a step. There was a couple spots that looked a little messy or whatever. But I think for not having a singles match in a decade or so, I don't think she did that bad of a job. Jessica Carr, obviously a big part of this match as well. She is officially the strongest referee in the WWE because it took 2 hits to knock her down. I thought that was interesting.
I was kind of glad she didn't go down. That corner hit. I think if the women are her size, I think she can shake that off. I mean.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Sometimes I see the male refs get hit in the corner, and it's just they're in there with a couple guys about this size, and they crumple like they've been run over by a Mack truck, and I'm like, come on, Jessica Carr was like. She got that New Japan fighting spirit. I like. She just did a little head tap and kept going.
Yeah, and I thought that was great. Like, because like you said, I mean, anytime a referee gets hit, it's like they're made of glass and they just break. But she took a good hit to the exposed turnbuckle and then just turned around, made the count. Then she got hit again and went down for a little while. Fine, whatever. But at least it took 2 to knock her down. There was somebody in the chat earlier and I forget who it was, and I don't remember where it was, but somebody mentioned that probably that they think we're going to see Becky versus Jessica Carr at WrestleMania, which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Jessica Carr has been in Evolve for a little bit, wrestling under a hood, and I believe
Calix.
Thank you. I was going to pronounce it wrong. I was going to say Calix. Calix. She has been wanting to get in the ring.
Because on commentary, they were hitting heavy on the rivalry between the two.
Yep, they mentioned it a few times.
Right during the ring introductions, when they focused in, and you could see Jessica in the background, and they were talking about her. I knew right then that there was going to be some shenanigans going on in the match involving Jessica.
Because they hardly ever do that unless there's something to it.
Yeah, they don't even acknowledge the referee's identities.
Yeah, half the time. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, AJ Lee, new Intercontinental Champion. David, let me throw to you on on all of that.
I liked the match. I thought it was good. AJ Lee is still in phenomenal. You can tell she's still in phenomenal physical condition.
Yeah, she is.
She's still got just yeah. You can tell. Just I mean, very strong. Very still very fit and can really go. And Becky, what can you say about Becky? I know I've been said she's a great character. I know some people are turned off by the overacting. I kind of think it fits her manic, that kind of manic character, where she looks like she's about ready to have a nervous breakdown 9 times, like most of the time. But very good. I thought it was a really good match. I really did not expect it to go quite that long, but I did. No surprise to me that AJ won the belt because. What are they going to do? Have her lose in Chicago? And plus, they had to have that cute little moment with her and CM Punk, like clinking their belts together and celebrating each other. So,
yeah, I pretty much figured it was going to be an AJ Lee win too. It makes sense. I mean, she's very popular after her return, and especially in Chicago and all of that. So definitely, I think makes sense. I don't know if we're necessarily done with Becky and AJ. If AJ does do something with Jessica Carr, if that is where the direction they go, maybe we wait. Becky waits a little bit or something like that. But or maybe Becky becomes the referee. I don't know. That just popped into my head. That'd be weird. But yeah, like I said, not a surprise to me that AJ won. And it's kind of cool, a little bit of you were talking about nostalgics earlier, and I guess when we were talking about it was a bit of a negative thing, but in a way, it's a bit of a nostalgia act here for AJ Lee. And I think it was a feel good moment for a lot of people to see her get that win. So yeah, Sean on the match.
I wasn't the biggest fan just because AJ just looked a step slow most of the time, and the stuff with the ref kind of drove me crazy after a while. That was such a big part of the match. She got the visual tap out and the actual tap out, which is the rare two for So
yeah, yep.
I don't know why they had to do that, but I think she's tapped her out officially 3 times now. So I mean, I know she needs more reps before she's ready for something like this, I think. But
yeah.
they pretty much had to put the title on her tonight. I think that was the choice that they had to. I felt like that was what they had to do. But it just on a 4-match card to have a ref bump, the ref bumps and the just the things slightly mistimed a few times. It wasn't a bad match, but I think AJ can get up to a higher level in the ring. At the same time, I'm just, they're dropping down. So like, the women's division kind of just puzzles me as a whole because they've dropped down Bailey. It feels like they've dropped down Becky now to a certain level to this, the IC level, and she doesn't feel like the man anymore. She feels more like a second tier character the way she acts now. And why are they doing that with their? I mean, they finally. We'll talk about in a minute what they did with Rhea Ripley. They finally undid all that string and got her back on track. But
basically took the words out of my mouth.
But I don't understand why Becky isn't pushed hard. I just don't, like, as a main event talent that she is, because she's so good. I don't think she's going to be around like forever. I think she's going to want to be you know what I mean? I just get the feeling she's going to want to be a mother.
I feel like she said that too recently.
Yeah, she has said it, so it's not just a feeling; it's a fact. But I just don't know why they're not putting these women in optimal. I like that they're getting over the younger women, but at the same time, it's like they pushed all their bigger stars to the side for a long time, and it puzzles me. It just, And then it doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy that Becky's going to be feuding with the referee next, even though the referee has she has a legitimate background as a wrestler, and she was on the independent scene for a long time, and she's by no means a bad wrestler, but it's still, you're dropping down to, in the WWE universe, people don't know that, and she's
no, I mean, like personally, like I love Jessica Carr. I think she's she's one of my favorite referees, but
she's fantastic.
But I mean, I also like her story, but I also don't think most people know her story. Because I mean, I've gone out of my way to like look it up. But so I don't know. We've got a lot of pushback in the chat on it being a WrestleMania main event. Becky and Carr should only occur in an episode of Raw. There's a few others. Highly doubt Carr is in a WrestleMania match. Not popular enough to be in a match with Becky, but I could see them wrestling on Raw.
Michael Cole was in a WrestleMania match.
Yeah,
we don't talk about that.
We've got a long time between now and April too, so
yeah. I
got a lot of hours to Raw to fill.
I try to keep that vision of Michael Cole in that orange singlet out of my head as much as I possibly can. Especially gut Michael Cole. And I'm one to talk. I mean, I've got one myself, but he was not in the best of shape when he was wearing that. And I think that was by design. But
if you're gonna build up Becky for a program, why are you gonna build her up for a Raw program on your last pay-per-view before WrestleMania? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's illogical. But not that I put it past them to do illogical things, but
I'm afraid Becky has fit too well. She has started to fit too well into this role right now. And because now it's getting to the point to where, as Sean said, it's hard to see her. To me, it's hard to see her as a main eventer right now because they pigeonholed her in this, almost like this Chelsea Green type of role, and it's like she needs to be. Becky Lynch is a top pardon me, Becky Lynch is a top star. They don't need that. Anybody could do what is being done with AJ Lee right now.
I mean, they had Bailey hear the voices, and now Becky's got breakdowns, and Charlotte's crying about stuff.
I was just gonna say that, all we need is Mercedes to show up as Sasha and kind of all of a sudden have schizophrenia or something, But all right, okay, so let's go to the Women's Elimination Chamber. Our opening match of the night: Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, Kiana James, and Tiffany Stratton. The order of entry, and I don't think I did this for the men's. I meant to, but order of entry. We started off with Kiana and Stratton. Asuka came in next. Alexa came in after that. Then Rhea, and then Raquel. Asuka. So for eliminations, we had Asuka misting Alexa, and then Kiana eliminated Alexa right after that. Raquel eliminates Asuka and Kiana at the same time after a Tiana bomb. She basically Tiana bombed Asuka onto Kiana James and then pinned them at the exact same time. I thought that was pretty cool. We saw a prettiest moonsault ever from Tiffany Stratton onto Raquel to eliminate her. And then a riptide from Rhea Ripley to eliminate Tiffany, and Rhea goes to WrestleMania. There were a couple cool spots in the match. Like I did like as I guess convoluted and contrived. That's the word I was looking for. Contrived as everybody standing together for somebody to jump off something tall. I did like the Twisted Bliss from the top of the pod. And I also like the Rhea Ripley doing the cannonball from the top of the pod onto Raquel. I thought those were a couple cool spots. Rhea getting the win here, I think makes the most sense. I mean, as Sean was just saying, as we're talking about AJ Lee and Becky, and Becky kind of getting knocked down a peg, not being that main eventer. Rhea, I feel like, is kind of in that same boat. She was the hottest thing in pro wrestling, or at least in WWE, for a little while there, and then she gets injured. She comes back, and I don't feel like she ever quite hit that that upper echelon where she was before. And I think that maybe this might be a way to try and kind of give her a push again. Don't know. Uh, Rhea versus Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill matches, I guess, in particular or in general, I'm not overly excited about. But I'm kind of hoping they turn this into a bit of a hoss fight. Um, uh, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not super sold on the match, mostly because I just don't feel like Jade Cargill should be holding that title. But that's another story for another day, I guess. Um, Coming into the match, like I really kind of had Rhea pinned as somebody that could win. I was thinking maybe Alexa, because again, she's another one that was super over, and is she still gets the pop and everything, but I feel like especially with the best friends angle that they've been doing with Charlotte, she hasn't quite gotten back to that level of popularity that she once had. Kind of post Bray, well, with the Bray Wyatt stuff and the post Bray Wyatt stuff. Um, but yeah, overall, I thought this was it was a good elimination chamber, and happy to see Rhea win because I'm a big fan of Rhea. So let me throw to I think I threw to David last time, so go to Sean on the women.
Yeah, this was probably my best match of the night for me. I thought it was a good match. You hit all the highlights. I was impressed with Raquel. Her double elimination where it was really cool with the Tahana bomb after the toss through the pod, and then the final stretch with Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley was really good too. I thought they had a nice final stretch. Crowd was into it, I thought, and it's just I've talked about this before. You said it earlier too. Rhea's been in the tag title scene for so long, and Nate, you recapped everything. She was so over. Why isn't she having that strong title run or chasing a strong champion? Or on the chase at least. So it's good to see her back in a position to work a singles program. Although I'm not sure that the best opponent for her is Jade Cargill right now. I'm not sure how good of a match they can have at WrestleMania. I just Jade seems to have limitations. So if they get the title on Rhea, then that's good enough for me. I think to head us into the post WrestleMania season.
Absolutely, and David.
This was also my favorite match of the night. I thought it was very well executed. They obviously are seeing something in Kiana James, which she is very talented, and they're showing that off right now. The big turnaround with Raquel Rodriguez, they made her look like a star. I mean, compared to that awful street fight that she had here a few weeks ago with Stephanie Vaquer, this is a complete turnaround. They made her look great with some high, the spear through the cage, and then like you said, the Tahana bomb with a double pin. Yeah, they made her look like $1 million tonight. As far as the winner goes, I already expected it would be Rhea, but then when her and Io lost the tag team titles last night, then to me it's like, okay, it's practically a given that she's going to win now, because now she's freed up. And plus, I mean, if you put the two side by side, Jade Cargill with Rhea Ripley, it looks like a good matchup on paper. Granted, Jade's look is really about the only thing that she has going for her. She's kind of a female Ultimate Warrior of sorts.
Yeah,
and
comparison.
I mean, she's got a great look, but she is nothing to write home about in the ring. unfortunately, and I don't really see much improvement out of her either. But yeah, I liked the Oscar getting Lexa with the mist. That was good. Um, and I think that Rhea coming out, I think that's the best matchup you can possibly have with Jade, because you don't want, with her low level experience, you don't want to put her in there with somebody smaller like Alexa Bliss, because I don't think she could. Yeah, I don't think she could adapt that well to the size difference, to where with Rhea, they're very similar in stature. Can Rhea pull a good match out of her? Possibly, as long as they don't try to turn it into the second coming of Gotch versus Hackenschmidt.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that there's definitely a way that they can go and have a good match, and hopefully nobody gets injured or anything like that. But I agree with you. I think they need to kind of stay away from like huge spots and dangerous spots and things like that. Tell the match in the ring. I mean, obviously it'll spill out to the floor because every match does nowadays. But yeah, I mean, it's on paper, like you said. I think it sounds like it's a good match, but Jade, she really hasn't shown much improvement from what I've seen either. She's definitely got the look, and I feel like she has the charisma, but it's some of that in ring work that certainly could use some work.
They just brought her up too soon. I mean, her look
Yeah.
really. I mean, she looks like she could play the part, and
Oh
they're
yeah. I mean,
they're
she looks
anxious.
like a
They're
superstar.
anxious to get her in front of the cameras. So I mean, she would have really benefit. She would really have benefited from, if she doesn't have a ton of experience. Would have benefited from more time in NXT working with those coaches on a regular basis, and
Oh yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and
And when she came into the company, like on PWT Talks NXT, we talked quite a bit about that being a possibility of, her going to NXT. We didn't think it was going to happen because at the time, I mean, she was, going around from making the rounds from all the shows to be like, oh, what show is she finally going to pick? Excuse me. When she showed up on NXT, we kind of figured it was just a token thing. But talking about it, it was like she should have spent some time down there. I think she would have benefited, like Sean just said, benefited from the coaches, but I think also just benefited from all of the I was going to say reps, but
they have.
yeah,
They have
I mean, even
doors down there that she could go on, or they run
do the
house
coconut loop
shows.
or something like that, and and even just
The
being
coaches are
in
there too,
right, just being in the
instant
performance
feedback.
center every day. Yeah,
She's not even getting a chance to do house shows right now, hardly, because they I think a lot of the roster could use not just her, but overall those house shows help the wrestlers get reps,
Yeah.
And they've
and
cut
I
the
actually was
way
gonna I was
back.
gonna say that when we were talking about AJ Lee, where AJ
Yeah, I mean,
did seem like she mistiming or whatever, like those house shows. Yeah, it's certainly a more grueling schedule than what they're running now. But I mean, we've how
could they
many
run?
wrestlers
Could
have
they
we
run
heard
one
talking
a
about it?
week? Yeah, like you've heard lots of wrestlers bring it up. They're not
Yeah,
getting their reps in, so it's
Co
hard for
like
them.
Cody, Undertaker, like these, a lot of the guys that have done it at the highest possible level, guys and girls, but those two, just the two that came to mind. Yeah, they're not getting those reps like before. So,
They've gone
and
from
that
one
that
extreme to the other too, and they haven't found
yeah,
a happy medium, because there is a happy medium where you don't have to be on the road, 75% of the year away from your family, but you could have, you know, two house shows, and who cares who you send to them? You don't have to brand them. You could just, WWE presents,
yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly.
You could send
So
whoever needs. AJ Lee could go on. AJ Lee could get reps. Jade Cargill. People coming back to the roster. For whatever reason, could benefit from this, and even the regulars want to do it, because it's. I mean, some of them, their only exposure is in front of the cameras right now. You know,
right, yeah, no,
that's
exactly.
a hard way to learn, especially for someone like Jade Cargill that's trying to find her, find herself in the ring.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. All right, I think that is going to bring us to the end of our show tonight. So this was the post-elimination chamber show. I'm Nate Lindberg, typically the host of PWT Talks NXT, or one of the hosts PWT Talks NXT, which you can find us on the Daily Cast. We usually go live right here on this YouTube channel about 15 minutes after NXT ends. So if you haven't come and hung out with Kelly Wells and myself, David joins us from time to time. We also have Kevin Catani, Paul Weigel show up from time to time. Come hang out. Let's talk some NXT every once in a while. Sean, who are you?
I just write for the site for a little while here and there. But I've been around over 20 years. My focus is on the Indies and New Japan, but lately I've kind of delved into everything. I'm doing the news. I've revamped my Radican Worldwide VIP podcast to have about 10 or 15 minutes of news and analysis across everything, and then a singular focused go home segment with a guest. I've had the very Kelly Wells you mentioned on to talk New Japan.
As he will always do.
Yes. And also been doing some interviews lately. I've had Darren Young, Fred goes by Fred Rosser now, formerly a WWE on. I had PCO on. Who else? Bronson Reed on before he unfortunately got injured was on. So check all that stuff out. I try to do a weekly take on the site as well. I got to try to get one up this week. I kind of been transcribing my interviews and so forth and been busy. There's a New Japan show last night, so it's always doing something. You'll see me around on the VIP or free site.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Right before we went live, I said to Sean, I'm like, we've both been doing this for a while, but this is the first audio show we have done together. So I'm happy we finally got to do it, Sean. So thank you.
Very
thank you
nice
for joining.
to meet you both.
Yeah, and David, who are you?
Who am I? Oh no, I'm David Miller. I provide the all perspective report on NXT every Tuesday night. And as Nate mentioned, I will occasionally drop in with either him or Kelly to comment on the show. And then I also do the Evolve report on Wednesday nights for PWTorch.com, which is where you will see the people who are going to be the future of NXT one day. A lot of great talent down in Evolve to check out. So I would highly recommend that. That is on Tubi. They drop new shows every Wednesday at 8 p.m. So you can check me out. Check me out on the Torch with Evolve and NXT, and also the occasional AAA. And whenever I'm asked to do it, I'll come on here with these fine gentlemen, talk wrestling for a little while. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you everybody in the chat for joining us, and anybody who's listening to us the recording after the fact. Thank you very much for joining us. And I probably won't be here for the next episode of Wrestling Night in America, but I'm sure somebody will see you next week for Wrestling Night in America. Take care.